like to call the May 8th, 2023 Peachtree City Planning Commission meeting to order. If you will stand and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? All right, very good. Any announcements and reports? As usual, it's always good to see Councilman Holland here. Thank you for being here. Acknowledge that. All right, we'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes. Commissioners, you've all received the minutes from our meeting on April the 24th, 2023. Are there any changes, additions, deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, then the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from April the 24th, 2023. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes from April 24th, 2023.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any question on the motion, discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? The ayes have it. Item number 5, public hearing, none. Item number 6, old agenda items, none. We'll move on to new agenda items. Item 23-05-01, the conceptual site plan for SWI Machinery Incorporated, 400 NACO Way, and we'll turn it over to staff.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, first up, we have the conceptual site plan for SWI Machinery, Inc. Property we're discussing this evening is located here on the map in the blue outline. It did not have an address, so we assigned it 400 NACO Way. It also currently does not have access from NACO Way because it does not extend all the way to the project site. It ends, NACO Way ends about right here. And you'll see as we talk about the site plan that the road extension is part of the proposal. The parcel is zoned GI General Industrial, which permits the manufacturing use being proposed. In addition, the property is located in the Airport Overlay District, which is indicated by this, you can't quite tell, but it's a green dotted area all in here. And because of that, the development will require approval from the FAA. Moving right along. So the proposal is for a new manufacturing building. It will be 20,940 square feet. You can see it there in the blue hatch on the site plan. The site area is 6 acres, and the building location meets all of the building setbacks, which are 50 feet in the rear and 50 feet in the front and the rear, and 20 feet on the sides. The minimum parking requirement is 18 spaces, and the maximum permitted without a variance is 22 spaces. The maximum permitted is 125% of the minimum requirement. The proposal does show the 22 spaces. In addition, the plan shows 1 loading dock on the south side, right here, and they also have a ramped area on the north side for loading as well. Property is currently a vacant lot that is heavily wooded, as you can tell here in the aerial overlay, and with no access, as I mentioned previously. Here again you can see a little bit better on the aerial photograph where NACO Way ends right here. The developer is proposing to extend the roadway along the full frontage of the property, culminating in a cul-de-sac at the south corner of the property right here. The total length of the extension is approximately 800 feet. The right-of-way is already in place for the road to be built, but should any additional right-of-way be needed for construction of the road or the cul-de-sac, the city engineer has requested that right-of-way be dedicated to the city. The proposal includes biodetention facilities at the front of the property, one right here and one right here. And since the lot slopes approximately 15 feet from east to west, it makes the front of the property an ideal location for this stormwater detention. The property is surrounded by other parcels zoned GI, general industrial, on the north, east, and west side of the property. These are all general industrial properties. But on the south side, this is an open space parcel that happens to contain hole 4 of the Planterra Golf Course. The proposed development doesn't extend all the way to the property line on the south side, as you can see here. There's still a bit of a buffer area, but staff is recommending that evergreen plant material be supplemented on the south side with the existing vegetation as needed to create a visual buffer. Excuse me, can't get my voice clear. So staff is of the opinion that the proposed conceptual site plan for SWI machinery meets the city ordinances and recommends approval of agenda item 23-05-01. Should the Planning Commission approve the conceptual site plan, staff recommends the following understandings and conditions be considered for adoption. Any additional right-of-way required for construction of the road extension or the cul-de-sac shall be dedicated to the city. 2, enhanced landscaping with evergreen plant materials shall be required on the south side of the development to supplement existing vegetation as needed to create a visual buffer and screen the development from the golf course. And number 3, FAA determination statements are required to be submitted at the time of final site plan review.
All right, very good, thank you. Is the applicant here? Please come to the mic and give us your name and who you represent.
Good evening, Commissioner. I'm Charles Mitchell with Landmark Resources, representing SWI Industries, and they are the builders of this facility.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Do you have anything else to add to the report that was given?
No, thank you very much. It was a very thorough analysis. Thank you. And we look forward to your, hopefully, approval of this project.
All right, very good. If you'll just stay at the mic, we'll see if there are any questions that the commissioners may have that you may be able to answer. So commissioners, will open it up to you for questions. Commissioner Reeves, you have any questions?
Sure. Good afternoon. It may be administrative in nature, but I took a look at the conceptual plan that you have there.
Yes.
If you move over to where it talks about the parking summary, what that map shows is that there are actually 10 spaces required for the manufacturing parking area, and the write-up shows 9. And so I was wondering, which is the driver? Is it that plan right there, or the write-up?
Well,
It's a round off, I believe, is where we are.
yes, my math comes up with 9.
Okay.
They rounded to 10, I believe.
It is a portion of a space, and typically, in my experience, we rounded it up being a requirement. So if you require 9.5 spaces or stalls, we go ahead and provide the 10.
Clear.
So,
That's clear.
Either way, the numbers work out.
Okay. The only other thing I saw, and I just looked at the map, for the zoning setback, I think the map is showing 30 feet in the rear as a setback for the rear portion. I think the write-up is showing 50 feet, and I was wondering which one is the actual.
Look at the wrong thing.
If you look just under the vicinity map, it shows the zoning requirements setback, and it has rear is a little different from the write-up, and I was just wondering which one is the actual setback that's gonna be used.
I took my information, I believe, from the Peachtree City zoning code.
I believe it's 50 for industrial, but, I guess I could be wrong. I would have to double check that. I believe it's 50.
If it needs to be 50, we have sufficient room to make it 50.
Yeah, either way, it's fine.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Commissioner Johnson, any questions?
My only question is for staff and not necessarily about the site plan, but so regarding the landscaping that will be required, in order to create like an adequate buffer, like how tall, do you know? I mean, like, will you give like specific height requirements for that?
Well, we'll have to see what they propose on the landscape plan, but yes, we'll analyze or, assess what they've proposed. I would suggest that it would need to be a minimum of 6 feet at time of planting
Okay,
and evergreen, so.
okay. Just curious about that. Thank you.
Commissioner Hamner, any questions?
No questions.
And Commissioner Chris, any questions?
Yeah, my questions are primarily for staff. Does the developer pay for the extension of the roadway? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Okay.
To my knowledge, yes.
And why not extend the road all the way to TDK? Why stop at the cul-de-sac?
That I can't answer.
It's a golf course
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also a space in between the golf course looks like it's meant for the extension of that NACO road to TDK. If you look at the
Yeah, within
satellite.
the drawing.
That would be probably a question for the city engineer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's relevant for the conceptual site plan, but I think when it comes back to us, we should discuss.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so any other questions?
No.
Commissioner? And I just have two quick questions. One, Mr. Mitchell, I assume you've seen the recommendations that the city is making. Are you agreeable
Yes, sir.
to those recommendations?
On behalf of the owner, yes.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
On behalf of the owner, yes.
Okay, very good. And the second question is, while you're not required, for example, to talk to Plantair Golf Course, did you have any communications with them about what was going on?
I have not, no, sir. Actually, as it turns out, to make that the best connection would actually require removing their restroom facilities there. And I believe the engineer just said make it a cul-de-sac. Keep that traffic from going through there, so.
Sure. Okay, very good. Then let's turn then to comments, and we'll start down to Commissioner Chris. Any comments on this proposal?
No, I agree with the staff's recommendations and proposals.
Very good. Commissioner Hamner?
Yeah, overall, I believe this plan looks really great. Obviously, as always, it's really good to see development like this within our city, especially in the industrial area. Support the development of the cul-de-sac at the end of the road. Again, the drawings of this, for example, on the left-hand side, suggest that it could extend all the way to TDK, but again, the drawings are literally through a golf course right there. So, again, the way that the plan is presented on the right overall looks really good.
Very good. Commissioner Johnston? Comments?
No additional comments.
And Commissioner Reeves, any comment?
No, sir, no additional
Okay.
comment.
And I agree with Commissioner Hamner. I think it's an ideal spot for this. So, very good. So, all right, well then, Commissioners, and we will, the Chair will entertain a motion for approval of agenda item 23-05-01 with the recommendations from staff. Is there such a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve 23-05-01, the conceptual site plan for SWI Machinery Incorporated, as submitted with staff recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Then all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? The ayes have it.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Mitchell. Very good. All right, we'll move on next to Item number 23-05-02, the building elevations for Peachtree Cardiology at 100 McWilliams Drive. And we'll turn it over to staff again.
All right. So it wasn't long ago that you approved the conceptual site plan for this one. It's located at the intersection of McWilliams Drive and Highway 74. Again, here outlined in blue. The zoning is OI, office institutional, and the project is for a 5,000 square foot medical office building known as Peachtree Cardiology. And Jefferson Architecture has submitted the building elevations for your review. See, we're going to be on this slide for a little bit, but I do have some others. So the land development ordinance establishes general goals for architectural design that include things like high quality design and innovation, as well as compatibility with surrounding development and the natural environment. The new building will have a vacant wooded lot to the south, and there is a small medical office at 101 McWilliams Drive as the closest commercial neighbor. You can see here, this picture below the rendering is 101 McWilliams Drive. The building materials used there consist mainly of a light-colored stacked stone. And then compared to the materials being proposed, you may recognize them, seen on the right there in the materials sheet, are similar to the materials that were used at the convenience store at the south end of town at Rockaway and Highway 74. The brick colors and the wood accent material. And then in addition, a pre-finished corrugated metal panel is also being proposed for an accent material. The wood cladding accent material, you may remember, is a fiber cement product. These products are available in a variety of textures and colors these days and have become quite popular. And staff feels that these products are quite durable and long-lasting and also low maintenance, similar to brick and stone, and therefore we feel they meet the intent of the land development ordinance requirements, the same as brick and stone as for being a primary material. And when the presentation is finished, I believe the applicant has some material samples to show you, or we like them. We're going to have them start bringing actual brick samples so you can see the colors in person, since it's sometimes hard to get those colors in a photograph. All right, I'm going to show you some other views here. All right, so you can see. So I've got a key map here that shows you that photograph number 1. These are both what I'm calling, this is the front facade that faces McWilliams at daytime and nighttime, and that is photograph number 1, looking at that facade from McWilliams. And then this photograph number 2 is looking at this side from 74. So we consider both of these front facades. So you can see how the architectural design incorporates traditional brick with some more modern accent materials and large windows. The facades are articulated with changing materials and heights and planes. The front facade on McWilliams includes a canopy that protects the building entrance and also emphasizes the building entrance. As a general rule, front facade should be 80% primary materials and sides 50%. Primary materials in this case being brick, stone, or the fiber cement product. So the front facade that faces McWilliams is 84% brick and fiber cement product, and the facade that faces Highway 74 is 76% brick. The final 2 sides, again, key plan. Photograph number 3 is standing about here, looking at sort of this corner of the building and down this back side here. And number 4, standing at this corner, looking at this I guess we'll call this the side of the building, picture number 4. And so this facade here is 93% brick, and this facade is 94% brick. Staff feels that the building materials meet the intent of the land development ordinance, and the color selection blends with the natural surroundings and the nearby development. Staff is of the opinion that the proposed elevations for Peachtree Cardiology meet the city's requirements and design standards, and recommends approval of agenda item 23-05-02.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I see Mr. Jefferson's coming up to the mic. Please give us your name and who you represent for the record.
Jefferson Brown, Jefferson Architecture, owner's rep for this proposal. So we did have with the neighborhood, if I can add to the comments, we met with the neighbors, and we had a elevation design reveal with them.
Ooh,
They loved it. And so they were in support. They had a couple comments, which resulted in, we did a light study. You saw the night with the lights. So we showed them that we wanted to do lights that kind of cast up and down and not out, so people could actually see the facade, but not illuminate it and keep a lot of light out of the sky. So that was their one request, and we gave them a lot to study and a lot to see. So if you have any questions, I did bring some of the brick samples. Brick has been incredibly difficult. We specify things currently, that's available today. If we order it, we can get it today. When it's time to build 6-7 months from now, we hope that it is going to be available. But we've been very successful working with the city and with what's available, matching it, and the design intent and the feel we've been able to accomplish, and the city's been great to work with. We went with more natural materials, more of the brown, so it kind of reflects nature, and not a really, but because of the type of practice it is, we want it to look professional too. So there's a lot of really strong massing, but I hope everybody feels it's balanced.
Sure. Jefferson, can you let us, the commissioners, see those? And while you're doing that, what was the feedback that you got once you shared that with the?
I guess it must be really good because nobody's here.
Well, you said you.
But the feedback was that they thought that we honored the intent. They liked the fact that it was hard materials, brick, and those type of materials, because they felt like the maintenance, the building isn't going to run down.
Right.
Because these are they'll outlive all of us with these type of materials. So they were very pleased with that.
Okay, very good.
Very nice.
All right, we'll open it up to questions from the commissioners, and we'll start with Commissioner Chris. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm not an architect, I don't purport to be, but, medical.
Smart.
Medical facility and a
Yes.
lot of windows, right? And, in particular, there's a couple corners of the building with a lot of floor-to-ceiling windows. Do you
Yes.
imagine that those will be like private offices, or, because, as examination rooms, I don't know if you've already talked about it in interior layout, but to me, it doesn't really look like a medical building, and maybe that was meant to be that way, but.
That's what we tried to do.
Okay.
Almost spa, almost lodge-like. Actually, the floor plan's actually approved, and we have it actually engineered and sized. At the corners that you're asking, that is where staff is. On this front corner, they have schedulers. So typically the schedules are in this dark room, and they're all huddled together. We applied wellness principles and concepts, daylighting, getting rid of glare, that type of thing. So all those corners you see in the front where there's a large glass there, that's the reception area. And then on the middle, where there's 3 panes of glass, they have a sub-weight area. So you'll go in, triage, they'll do some quick testing, then you move over to this space, and then it's a sub-weight, you wait there, then you move into an exam room, and the exam rooms they're center core related.
Great, yeah.
But that's a great observation.
Looks great, though, looks great.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hamner?
No questions?
Commissioner Johnston?
So my only question is regarding the lighting. So it will be lit even on the weekends when the offices are closed?
For security, yes.
Okay.
So instead of using the large halide where it illuminates the parking lot and everything, we felt like if we could just illuminate the building itself and the main entry points, then security cameras could pick up anybody and anything. Then to the neighbors, in the site development plan, we agreed to actually go to low site lighting to accommodate their request, and so this honors that.
I was going to mention that. That was a variance condition that they received for the project. Site lighting can only be a maximum of 3 feet tall and has to be full cutoff. So there won't be any tall parking lot lighting or anything like that on the site. I forgot what it said about structural lights, but I think this meets the,
You couldn't see the
Right.
actual lamp of light source. We had to
Or-
shield that.
project, out from the building, towards the
So those are
residential.
sconces. They go
Yeah.
up and down.
I mean, it looks really nice.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you.
Commissioner Reeves, any questions?
So it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I really like the lights, and I'm very happy to hear that you had conversations with the community.
Yes.
And they had community input into it, and it's very beautiful. I think it's really nice.
It-
My question is for staff. It doesn't concern your particular project because it's absolutely beautiful. But I guess when reading it, the only question that came to mind was that there was a deficit in the front as far as the standard is concerned. And my question is just basically this. I realize that all 4 corners, if you add them all up, he clearly meets the standard. Is that typically how we evaluate other applicants, and have we had a project like this in front of us before?
It's just a general rule. It's not a shall statement, so it's just to get you to the general intent of the high quality of design.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, comments from commissioners, and we'll start with Commissioner Chris. Any comments?
No further comments. Looks great.
Bless you.
Commissioner Hamner?
Yeah, a few things. First of all, my opinion, I think this building looks really great. I know the other commissioners have said that as well, and I would absolutely agree with them. Obviously, some other thoughts. I love the thought that had been put into this. Obviously, you guys, it's clear that you guys, besides just trying to make the building look really nice, making sure that it's functional and all that is great. Everything from the use of the brick and all that, it's fantastic. And then as well, we don't hear enough in terms of people who come up to us being like, oh, I talked to the surrounding people who live around this or are going to be impacted by this and see this every day. So huge kudos to you as well on that regard, and I would love to hear more of that type of stuff in the future.
We enjoy it.
Sure. And I agree with Commissioner Hamner. I'm really big on community input, for sure, and you've done that, and that's great. And I agree with them as well. This is kind of like your signature look. It looks really, really nice. It looks different for Peachtree City. I love the different elevations of the roofs. It's just, I think it does look very, very nice, and kudos.
Thank you.
So Commissioner Johnston, any comments?
Pretty much the same. I love the look of it, love the colors, the lighting. I think it looks great.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Reeves?
Yep, I think I hit it the first time. It's absolutely beautiful.
We appreciate that.
And we very much appreciate the community involvement because it definitely helps. Thanks.
We enjoy them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, if there's nothing else, then the chair will entertain a motion for item 23-05-02. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make an emotion to approve the building elevations for 23-05-2 as outlined in the packet.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
A second?
Any discussion on the motion? Then all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? The motion passes. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown. All right, very good. All right, anything else on the agenda?
We don't have any items for the May 22nd meeting, so we'd like to cancel that.
All right, very good. Well, then Commissioners will entertain a motion to cancel the May 22nd Planning Commission meeting. Is there a motion to cancel that meeting?
I make a motion that we cancel the May 22nd meeting for lack of agenda items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I didn't think there would be. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposes? Oh, the ayes have it. All right, that's it for our agenda. If all minds are clear, we'll consider that, this meeting